Former NFL star Aaron Hernandez was found dead in his prison cell today. There he is, at the end of a long, sordid tale that involves professional sports and murder. And we'll take you through it, but first, here's a statement from his attorney. He says Aaron was looking forward to an opportunity for a second chance to prove his innocence on one of the counts of murder after being exonerated of 2 additional counts. Those who love and care about him are heartbroken and determined to find the truth surrounding his untimely death. Here is the full timeline for those of you who are hearing things about him getting found not guilty and then committing suicide and why that would happen. Here is the full timeline. In 2012, he signed a 5-year, $40 million contract with the Patriots. And then in 2013, he was charged with the murder of Odin Lloyd, a semi-pro football player who was dating his fiance's sister at the time. The Patriots then released him from the contract. Then in May 2014, he was charged of the murder of Safiro Furtado and Danielle de Abreu. This is a different murder charge for a drive-by shooting of these 2 men. And then in April 2015, he was found guilty of the Odin Lloyd case and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And then Friday, he was found not guilty in the additional 2 drive-by murders. And then he was found dead in his cell today. So that's
a very helpful timeline.
You know?
I got confused before, so I'm glad you did it. Baez seems like he's hinting that this was a murder.
Yeah, so it seems like he has Jose Baez is his attorney who will investigate the death for the family just to find out what exactly happened, and then the coroner's office is going to perform an autopsy.
So, as my quite frequent criticism of Alex Jones tells you, I'm not big on the conspiracy theories and the wild and crazy stuff that people say online. But from time to time, there are things that are cover-ups, and so top of that list is mysterious suicides while in prison. So all I say on that stuff is, if there's a way to take a second look with an independent body and not the prison going, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. As usual, another hanging in the prison, must have done it right after you got acquitted. Now, remember, he had the life without parole sentence as well. That was in a separate case. So it's not like he was gonna walk out of prison the next day and winds up killing himself. And we don't know for sure. And one piece of evidence that it was a suicide is that they said that he tried to bar people from entering by barricading the door from the inside. Now, that's a pretty solid evidence if it's true that it was a suicide. And his family members, his friends say he wasn't remotely suicidal. He was obviously very happy about the outcome of the second trial, blowing kisses to his daughter in the courtroom, etc. He's got a 4-year-old daughter. I would just do a super independent investigation of it because I'm always skeptical that guys want to hang themselves in prison.
Yeah,
I mean, we've heard it a lot. It's not unheard of. I mean, I feel like you've done a lot of stories about later it was discovered that this has happened, but we can't really say it without evidence. However, we do need it to be fair. We need that outside source to be able to conduct this investigation. Unless, I mean, yeah, it just seems like it's happened so much that it wouldn't be credible without that.
Yeah, in some of the cases, I want to be clear, there's speculation about the authorities and in cases where that involve like police abuse, and that person winds up conveniently dead. In this case, I don't think that there's any such allegation, at least as far as I know. But remember, the people who are dead have friends. And I don't know if some of those friends were in prison. Again, we're total speculation here, right? But he gets acquitted of that crime, and then all of a sudden he winds up dead right afterwards. Is it friends of the deceased who are like, no, we kind of thought you were guilty? No idea. I'm just saying, I'm not taking the authorities' word for it 100%. I'd look into it a little bit more.
For me, the whole story is just the epic, Shakespearean nature of someone who signed a deal for $40 million, who was on it's the fall of it all. And then for him to be found guilty in a separate case, now he's at the lowest point you can imagine if he was convicted of these other murders. And then to have it reach that low, get to the point where he's exonerated and you're expecting some kind of hope to return to him. I mean, but still me as a casual observer, I have no stake in this game. It's just a strange feeling. But that's the case.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, God, man, how much would we love $40 million? And his teammates, his former teammates, going to the White House now because they just won the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
And this happens to him. But
today they were at the Super Bowl at the White House.
Yeah. And maybe he knows that and he got depressed over that. We don't know. But and it's easy for us to judge, and Aaron Hernandez, given his conviction on murder, fairly easy to judge. Literally, society has judged him, right? And what he did was horrific. But I read a little bit into how he grew up and stuff, and I'm not one of those guys I'm a bad guy. I believe in vengeance. I've talked about it many times. I'm not being soft-hearted here, but he grew up under terrible circumstances, and that affected who he was. So all I'm saying is, you might have reacted differently to the $40 million. I think I would have.
Yeah.
My reaction would have been like, yes, I never want to get in trouble again.
Yeah.
Right.
But I would have to be a completely different person to be a professional athlete. Like everything about me would have to be different.
Yeah, and for him, the way that he grew up was completely different. So he had a different reaction to that situation. And that's why it's hard for us to relate. But either way, he's passed away now.
Could you, if you were in prison, convicted of something, let's say you didn't do it, would you think about it? Would you end it, or would you sit in
Never.
prison forever?
I don't know. It's hard to say because I've never been there. I'm sure it's terrible, and I'm sure you get very depressed and feel like the world is conspiring against you, even if you've gotten to this point, you're innocent.
Yeah. No. Let me be clear. Okay, you can come back and look at this tape later. If anyone says I committed suicide, it is not true. Okay, I'm not the guy to commit suicide.
Hello,
okay.
news from the future.
Yes.
Jeez.
One, I'm a generally happy guy. B, B,
not super educated.
Okay, 3, no, okay. Anyway, and second of all, yes, even under different circumstances, my answer is hell no, I'm not the kind of guy to give up. So, and I got family. I did not commit suicide. That is a conspiracy. Young Turks now has over 6 billion lifetime views. You know who did that? You did that. We're now larger than CNN, ABC, you name a news network online, we're larger than them. And you built all that as everyone scoffed and didn't believe. And here we are, guys, thanks to you. Build independent media together with us at tytnetwork.com/join.